was beautiful. Thank you. Have you ever thought that something that happened to you was truly bad, like really bad, but it ended up being really good or leading to great things? I will return to this idea just in a minute. Let me remind you where we are now in the Torah reading. Joseph meets his brothers. They finally know who he is, and he obviously knows who they are. Dad, Jacob, died, and brothers are terrified that Joseph, now that the father is dead, will take revenge on them. Remember, he wasn't the nicest, you know the story. Now, this is the first thing that they say to him after the father died. Listen, our father told us to tell you to be kind to us. It never happened. Our father told us to tell you to be kind to us. And Joseph started crying. He started crying because after caring for them for so many years, the knowledge that they still live in fear of him and that they expect him to take revenge on them for what they did to him hurt him. His brothers are still afraid, so they throw themselves down on the ground before him and they offer to be his slaves. And now comes a sentence that I love so much. And I love it because of the lessons for us in how to live our lives. He says to them the following: Al tiru, don't be afraid of me. Ki atachat Elohim anochi? Am I God that I should have the right to judge you? Atem chashavtem alai ra'a, ve'Elohim chashva letova. You meant it for evil, but God turned it into good. So when Joseph says, I am God that I should judge you, what he means is, do I know what you did? Why you did what you did? Only God has the ability to look inside a person and determine what his motives are. I don't even know my own motives many times. How can I know yours? It's for God to judge, not for me. And the second thing he says to his brother is, you may have meant it for bad, throwing me into a pit and selling me as a slave, but look how it ended up. God turned into good. It's interesting. I know people who work at a job for 20 years, and when the war discontinued, they thought that's the end of my career. And the next job was more gratifying and challenging. They found their passion in the new chapter. I know people who got divorced and thought that the end of that relationship is an emotional death sentence to me. And one day, they start laughing again and loving again. Thanks to you sending me to Egypt, Joseph says, I'm now able to help you and to help many people. So since it turned us so well, how can I be angry at you? So when a person looks back over his life, he has two choices. He can say, look how much I have suffered, look what a victim I have been, or he can say, look how much I have overcome, and look how much good I have been able to accomplish, despite, or perhaps even, because of my suffering. Makes all the difference which way you look at your life. If you think of yourself as a victim, if you focus on how cruel people have treated you, with self-pity, you will be miserable and unhappy. You will exhaust your energy thinking of how badly you have been treated and how much you wish you could pay back those who have hurt you. Joseph made a conscious decision not to live that way. You may have meant it for evil, but God turned it into good. It's a much healthier way to live. It turns the past into a teaching instead of turning it into a place for negativity and resentment. Rabbi Harold Kushner of blessed memory has a wonderful way of putting this truth. He says that when it comes time for a person to move to a different home, one of the hardest things that he or she must do is downsize. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody in Miami knows what I'm talking about. Some people don't move just because of that painful image. So which object should he keep and which object should he give away? It's not an easy answer question. Many of us have things that we have accumulated over years, are hard to give away. They may have no practical use, but still they have sentimental value. How do you give away photographs? How do you give away souvenirs and mementos? So Rabbi Kushner says that there is one thing that we should surely give away at such a time, and that is the bad memories that we have accumulated over the years. The grudges and the resentment that weigh us down. If we get rid of them, we can enter a new home and feeling much lighter spiritually, if not physically. If we hold on to them, we will burden ourselves and make our adjustment to the new chapter in life much harder. That is the lesson that Joseph is teaching us in this sentence. First of all, I'm not God, so I cannot know whether what you did to me was justified or not. And number two, sometimes bad things, we don't know them then. I would never be in Miami if it wasn't for something bad that happened to me in Buenos Aires. But I changed the life of all my kids and my life. These are the two lessons that I will have you learn from Joseph today. One, that we are not God, and therefore we are not able to judge the motive of others. Second, don't play the victim. It's not worthy. I ask you and I ask myself to learn these two lessons. For if you do, your lives and mine will be better and richer and more blessed. Shabbat Shalom.